All right, so we're gonna check out Salad Saying. I actually really do love his content. And I personally just really want to just watch this video. I'm not gonna watch this whole thing, obviously, but I just wanted to make a reaction video because I don't know, I like Salad Saying. Fuck
What's
it.
up,
There's
everyone?
no other real
Welcome back to a
reason.
brand new video. So
Let's
I've done a
go.
similar series to this before where Kakarot's sent
Yes.
away somewhere or raised by someone
My
different.
camera good?
Surprisingly enough, though, this one's probably the most obvious example, and I haven't even touched
This one I watched all the way through. Yeah, this one is actually really good, but it's one of his older ones. I haven't seen this one yet.
upon it. Instead
I
of
saw
sending
that one
Kakarot
though.
to
That
Earth
one
or
was
somewhere
good.
random, it's not really too unlikely that Bardock might decide to send him right to Raditz, and we'll
Mhm.
explain more in a bit why he chooses to do that here. And with Kakarot being sent to Raditz, that would mean he's part of Vegeta's crew. So
Yeah.
what would happen if Kakarot was part of Vegeta's crew? Our story begins with Bardock sending Kakarot.
Well, damn. If Kakarot was part of Vegeta's crew, I guess he'd still be the same, right? So he'd still have the potential. But my question is, how jealous does Prince Vegeta get before he go ahead and kills Kakarot? I don't know.
Kakarot away pretty much like normal. And Bardock makes a slightly worse choice here.
We'll see.
Sending Kakarot to Earth would be safer, but
We will
instead,
see.
he goes for the riskier option, sending him right to Raditz. The reason this is riskier is because Frieza will know about the other Saiyans anyways, but Bardock has a way around this. Of course he knows Frieza would probably be suspicious of this, but he thought of that. Kakarot is sent directly to Raditz and joins Vegeta's crew. And he gave Raditz a message. He wants
Bro, if y'all played the Dragon Ball game, Kakarot, bro, is it just me or does it seem like Kid Vegeta is way more savage than adult Vegeta? I don't know what it is. It's just Kid Vegeta really did not give no fucks.
wanted Kakarot off planet and told Raditz not to come back to the planet no matter what. Which Raditz already does in canon anyways, he never comes back to the planet. And when Frieza learns that there's another Saiyan there, they could simply just say he's at an age where he's supposed to be sent out. And for his first mission, he's going with his brother Raditz. That should quell any suspicion Frieza had. Besides, Kakarot's really weak Saiyan, so he
Bro, this is a crazy ass plan from Bardock, right? So at this point, if he's like, let me send it to Raditz, he's saying, let me send my Saiyan son to a place where he's gonna have to serve Frieza. So this Bardock would have to be thinking more of like 100% guaranteed revenge, right? That'd be kind of crazy.
shouldn't really be too big of a problem in Frieza's eyes. And once
See?
Kakarot arrives there, Vegeta doesn't really like this too much. When did they become a daycare? They don't have to babysit Kakarot. It's already bad
Facts.
enough that they have Raditz in their
You
crew
might just
because
kill
Vegeta
him.
kind of sees him as dead weight, and Kakarot's even weaker. Not just because he's young, but because he's weak in
Facts.
general. Vegeta doesn't need more people dragging him down. Nappa doesn't really know how to feel about this either, especially because he's the one basically watching over all the kids here. He just hopes Kakarot's going to be a better version of Raditz, essentially. And
What if ends Prince Vegeta just kills him?
as for Raditz, he doesn't really care either. No one really wants Kakarot here. Raditz views Kakarot as
Facts.
kind of weak and kind of a burden to the group too. Bardock thought this might be the best option because at least he'll be with someone he knows and other Saiyans in general, but nobody actually really wants Kakarot here, at least not at first. Frieza eventually does learn of Kakarot's existence too, and he doesn't really pay Kakarot any mind. His power level is incredibly low, and the story that they gave him checks out too. He is at
Good
the
night.
age where he's supposed to be sent out, so it makes sense. And what's one more Saiyan, especially with such a low power level? Also, Frieza probably would recognize his hairstyle and think he's related to Bardock somehow, remembering the Saiyan that rebelled against him. But for Kakarot's sake, we'll say that Frieza doesn't really care about that here. First of all, because it could be a coincidence that they have the same hairstyle, since a
Bruh.
lot of low-class Saiyans look alike anyways. And even if
I
he is
mean,
related to that
yeah,
other Saiyan,
okay.
well, he's seen what Raditz could do, and it's pretty much nothing. Plus, with how
Facts.
weak Kakarot is right now, he doesn't really care. It's not like Bardock could do anything against him anyways either. So if these two are related to Bardock, who cares? They're
See, I could let that one pass because it's like Cooler was the same way. When Cooler saw Kakarot getting away, he was just like, it'll get my brother eventually, right? So I could see free like that just being part of the Frieza race, just being they are arrogant. Let's
insignificant to
continue.
him, and he'll make sure they don't rebel. And think about how Kakarot's feeling here. He's remembering everything. He knows what happened, he knows he was sent off planet, he doesn't lose his memory, and he's around people that are just ignoring him, basically. He doesn't really enjoy having to be here, but he knows Planet Vegeta's gone and he has no other choice. He's glad he's at least alive. But it irks him so much that these people are just looking down upon him like that. He knows he's young and he's weak right now, but he'll prove it to them. He'll prove to them that they're wrong. He'll be stronger than any of them. He'll be the strongest Saiyan.
Okay.
Not just
Yeah,
that,
that
no.
sound like
He'll be the
something
strongest thing in
he would say.
existence. And this
Damn.
mindset sticks with
Oh.
Kakarot as he continues
Oh.
to grow up around them.
Okay.
Of course, he slowly does grow stronger. Realizing he's a low-class Saiyan and he's behind everyone, he puts in a lot of hard work to train. With Raditz reluctantly working with him to train him up too. Kakarot still holds a grudge.
What another thing like I really like about Salad saying is like one, the way he's delivering it is just so straightforward. It's like it's a story. It's good. And then the background music is always a great choice. And then these stills are amazing. I get this one is probably from like this one uh is this from like the YouTube one where it's like all these different multiverses of the like Dragon Ball world were all going against each other. The one with Vegito, right? Yeah, that was a good one.
because Raditz basically ignored him for a bit too, but at least he and Raditz kind of share something in common. He knows Raditz is only trying to help him now because the two of them were looked down upon by the higher class Saiyans. Raditz is basically joining him out of pity, and there definitely is truth to that. But Raditz shares kind of a similar mindset to Kakarot. Especially with Kakarot training so rigorously, he's starting to grow stronger and he's slowly catching up to Raditz. Raditz can't let his little brother get ahead of him, so he'll keep him at arm's length, not only to keep an eye on him, but so he can grow stronger too. And this creates a weird rift between the Saiyans.
Raditz power level going to be higher.
Yeah, Kakarot is part of
Okay.
Vegeta's crew and they go on missions together all the time, but Vegeta never pays Kakarot any mind. He views Kakarot as a weakling and a burden on the group. Kakarot somewhat sticks with Raditz, but mostly he's on his own. So the Saiyans as a whole, they basically only stick together because they're Saiyans. At least he and Raditz are low-class warriors and brothers, so they have that in common. But otherwise, they basically all just coexist. They might have a common goal at overthrowing Frieza, but it's not really prominent
They're all monkeys.
at the moment because they know that's kind of a pipe dream. But as for Frieza himself, he kind of sees an opportunity here. An opportunity to turn the Saiyans against each other. Sure, he could just kill off the Saiyans as is, but their strength is still useful. Especially Vegeta. He's still a relatively strong soldier, and it's good to keep him in check. Besides, he has a constant watch on these Saiyans. Keeping track of 4 Saiyans is easy, especially now with the whole planet gone. But seeing that Kakarot's kind of the runt of the group, Frieza wonders if he could cause a divide between the Saiyans. While he's not too concerned about them at the moment,
Bro, that's crazy, bro. He's like, yeah, I'm so bored. Hey, let's see if we can get them to fight each other, bro.
make the Saiyans lose trust in each other.
Bro,
That
Frieza
way,
for
by
real.
manipulating them,
He a
there will
villain,
truly be no
bro.
threat from the Saiyans. The years grow on by. Vegeta, Raditz, and Kakarot grow up, with the latter two becoming stronger warriors, still not on the level of Vegeta and Nappa, but much stronger than before. And Frieza's taken note of Kakarot's growth too. His motivation for strength has led him to grow pretty fast. He's on Raditz's level now despite being younger. And for the record, Raditz is also relatively stronger too, mainly trying to keep up, but also because he's been training with Kakarot, that does help him grow stronger. The closer the two of them have to a bond is training together. They are brothers, but as Saiyans that doesn't really mean anything to them, especially with how they met each other in the first place. But Raditz is glad that he has an alliance with Kakarot at least. Over these years, Kakarot's grown more and more accustomed to the group, since they've all been sent on missions together. Vegeta and Nappa still look down upon those two Saiyans, especially Kakarot. And this kinda does hold the two of them back. Since Vegeta pretty much views them as dead weight, this means they get to do less on missions and they don't grow as much from the missions. Kakarot's initiative to actually train himself, that's what helps him grow stronger.
That's
Frieza
interesting.
can clearly see this. And he can also clearly see that Raditz and Kakarot are slowly becoming better allies. They're not close yet, but Frieza feels like that might happen soon enough. And he doesn't really want these Saiyans to be too close, because if they are, they could always rise up against him. Not that that would be an
True.
issue, but he'd rather have them be loyal soldiers, rather than being loyal to each other. So Frieza butts in, wanting to prevent the Saiyans from banding
Okay.
together. He likes disorder among their few ranks. So he approaches Kakarot one day. He's been keeping an eye on him and he sees that Kakarot's had some great growth. Kakarot can't tell what Frieza wants, but he can tell he wants something. Especially because Frieza's trying to act nice almost. It's clearly a facade because Frieza's not a
Frieza
person.
nice. Yo,
But he
okay.
has a proposition for Kakarot. He'd like him as one of his right-hand men, alongside Zarbon and Dodoria. He doesn't care what kind of class of
Oh, damn. Well, is this gonna be kind of like how I think Silent Saiyan made a video. It was like what if Frieza uh like took care of Goku or something.
Saiyan he
Something
is.
like that.
He cares that Kakarot has the right mindset. Now, this is
Trained him or
partially
something.
true, but really it's just to keep Kakarot separate from the group. He does know Kakarot's the second weakest among them, but he sees potential in Kakarot. And he feels like those other Saiyans might be holding him back, whether accidentally or purposefully. He's trying to plant these seeds in Kakarot's mind, trying to let him know that the other Saiyans don't really care for him. But under Frieza's wing, he'll do a lot better for himself. Kakarot doesn't know what Frieza's trying to gain out of this, but he accepts it. He doesn't really have a choice because it is Frieza after all. And he can grow stronger from this. He is right. The other Saiyans are holding him back. He could be growing a lot stronger if they actually let him shine. And Frieza's glad to hear this. Slowly, he's going to turn Kakarot against the others. Frieza couldn't do this with Vegeta or Nappa because they'd definitely turn against Zarbon and Dodoria, especially Vegeta because he has power that's almost close to them, and if he grows too strong, he's a big flight risk. As for Raditz, he doesn't show the same promise. But as for Kakarot, he's least likely to betray Frieza. He's the one that Frieza finds easiest to manipulate, and the one who has the most promise. This way Frieza will help Kakarot grow stronger, and then he can get rid of the other Saiyans, while also eliminating any threat that Kakarot poses by making him loyal to Frieza. At first, the other Saiyans don't really care that Kakarot's on another squad until they hear what squad he's with. He's with Zarbon and Doria of all people, and they're not stupid. That means Frieza had to directly appoint them to that group. He's not on some random squad with weak soldiers, he's with two of the strongest ones in Frieza's ranks. Frieza himself is involved, so they could pretty clearly tell Frieza has some sort of weird plan. He purposefully separated the Saiyans for some reason. They don't know exactly why, but they know there's a reason behind it. Maybe it is their fault though. If Kakarot were more loyal to them, this wouldn't have happened, and they'd rather have Kakarot as an ally than an enemy. Because whether intentional or not, this might turn Kakarot against them. But they're kind of in a tough spot. They need to retrieve Kakarot and get him to be part of their group again. But by doing so, they'd have to act directly against Frieza's orders. They'd have to attack Zarbon and Doria's group. Which actually won't be too big of an issue. They just have to get them in a secluded place and then turn Great Ape. And they wouldn't mind rebelling against Frieza.
Yeah, good luck.
The issue is, once they do it, they can't go back. The three other Saiyans come to a consensus. They've always fought together, but never actually truly fought together.
Yeah.
This time, for the first time ever probably,
for
they're
survival.
truly going to be working alongside each other.
Yep.
Working as an actual team for a common goal. They're going to retrieve Kakarot. This doesn't happen right away either. Kakarot's already been going on missions with Zarbon and Doria, and training with them too. Plus, the other Saiyans need to locate him in the first place. And Kakarot is seeing some exceptional growth here, which is exactly what Frieza wanted. Zarbon and Doria actually let him do things on missions. Before, Vegeta and Nappa wouldn't really let him do that. They'd always want to take the opportunity to shine, and they basically gave Kakarot and Raditz busy work, fighting random fodder instead of getting to real fights. But here, Kakarot's getting into real battles. He's doing real training with Zarbon and Doria. They're giving him actual guidance too, not because they want to, but because Frieza told them to. And he's growing exceptionally quick, especially with Zenkai's taken into account. And the Saiyans wait for their opportunity to strike. One day this trio is on a planet that's far away. Raditz has been trying to closely listen in, basically stalking them to figure out whatever missions they've been having. And now, it seems like they have their opportunity. After Zarbon's group sets out for that planet, the Saiyans leave not too long after, going to the same destination. They're in a remote area, far away from Frieza but not too far from another base, which is important for later. While Zarbon, Dodoria, and Kakarot are busy on their mission, the Saiyans arrive, first destroying two of the attack balls, leaving one behind for Kakarot. They doubt Zarbon and Dodoria will even be able to escape anyways because they're gonna die here. But this is nice and short.
Dokkan Battle got a nice
soundtrack,
soundtrack,
don't do
bro.
much in terms of power, so he's the one who throws the artificial moon in the air. Not too far away, Kakarot can see this. Confused as to why that's there because he instantly recognizes what it is. He accidentally turns Great Ape, which isn't bad because he's on a mission right now and this lets him easily destroy the targets that he's fighting. But Zarbon's confused. Did Kakarot throw up an artificial moon? And he says he didn't. He doesn't know what's going on. But over the horizon, they see three Great Apes flying over. Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz. In base, they had no shot at winning, and they wanted to have a surefire victory here. Sure, they do like fun battles, but in this specific circumstance, they need to fight and end it quickly. And as Great Apes, this is a pretty easy task. Zarbon and Dodoria are completely eliminated, with Kakarot thinking he's next. Why are the Saiyans here? And Vegeta tells Kakarot directly. He knows Kakarot's a fool, but he can't be that foolish. He has to know there's a reason Frieza separated them, right? And Kakarot does know. But honestly, he's been doing better here. He's grown so much stronger too. He flourishes without the Saiyans. Now, he doesn't necessarily hate them, but they have been holding him back. But he does recognize what Frieza's been trying to do. It's not like he really had a choice, though. He had to go along with these two.
You had to.
But he could pretty quickly assume what the Saiyans are trying to do right now. They're trying to get him back by starting a revolt, right? They've been wanting to revolt against Frieza for a while, but that's always been a pipe dream for them. And Kakarot kind of chuckles. This means they're doing it solely to get him back, right? Now they see the value in him. So Nappa asks him what it's going to be. Is he going to join them, or is he going to try to be Frieza's lapdog? And Kakarot says he will join them, but under one condition. The artificial moon dissipates and they all return to their normal forms. He wants Vegeta to fight him. If Vegeta wins, he'll join them. And Vegeta thinks this is ridiculous, but he goes for it anyways.
Goku said, okay, if you really want me on your team, show me. Okay.
The two begin
now,
fighting,
I fuck with that energy.
Surprise, Kakarot actually does really well. Of course, Vegeta wins in the end, but he realized that Kakarot's far stronger than he thought. Damn. Right now, he's even exceeded Nappa's power.
Well, yeah, you're right. This is a what if, of course. Yeah, my fault.
Kakarot basically just did this to prove a point. He knew he wouldn't win against Vegeta, but he wants them to see the true value of his strength. And he says fine, he'll join them.
Okay.
He promises them.
He said, put some respect on my name.
Soon enough, he'll be the strongest Saiyan of all of them. They'll stop looking down upon him. As someone who's always been looked down upon, he's finally going to prove himself. And what better opportunity than to fight against Frieza? Kakarot sticks out a hand, with Vegeta grabbing and shaking it. For the first time in nearly 2 decades, the Saiyans are actually showing some sort of camaraderie with each other. For once, they're acting like an actual team of sorts. This is where the fun truly begins for them. And they've done exactly what they wanted to. They've successfully retrieved Kakarot. The 4 of them leave this planet to head to another base. They need supplies first, and then they'll head off on their own. Meanwhile, Frieza's waiting for
Word.
some sort of contact from Zarbon. He hasn't heard from him, Dodoria, or Kakarot. And the mission they were on shouldn't have been too hard. That's why he only sent 3 of them. And he starts to wonder if something went
Facts.
on.
What's
without
going
him.
on?
Out of curiosity,
Where my
he
monkeys
checks to
at?
see where the Saiyans are. And he can't locate them either. No matter what he does,
Where
he can't
my
get in contact with either of
motherfucking
them.
monkeys
And
at?
Frieza's able to put 2 and 2 together pretty easily. This is definitely all related, isn't it? Well, it just shows that he was right. He knew the Saiyans probably would have betrayed him all along. Although, he wonders what Kakarot's fate was. Knowing the Saiyans, they probably killed him. Maybe this was a perfect excuse for that. But Frieza needs to figure out what went on first, and he needs to locate the other Saiyans. Following the encounter with Zarbon and Dodoria,
Okay,
the Saiyans
part
immediately
2.
leave for a less populated Frieza base.
How long is part 2? Oh, Ginyu Force? Okay, bet.
They're pretty
We'll
much
watch-
on the outskirts of the sphere of influence.
Okay,
Which
we'll watch
is
the
good.
Ginyu
This
Force.
means they're going to be able to get some supplies from the space, but also they're going to be far from Frieza. So they're basically hitting the ground running. But once they get to this base, they don't cause alarm right away. And they try to keep a low profile too, so no one can report to Frieza that they're here. Not that
Okay.
they'd even be suspicious of the Saiyans just yet anyways. Covertly, they loot a bunch of supplies and other stuff, and try to keep a low profile. They also get rid of their attack balls and get an actual ship instead. One that has healing chambers because that's pretty important for them. Raditz and Nappa disable
Okay,
any
so
sort
they
of
got
tracking
we got a
device on them.
spaceship,
And for now,
boys.
they're gonna have to stick
We got
close
a
together because they
spaceship.
probably can't use their
We got a
strategies
crew.
either. Even if they
We're
talk
looking
on
for the
local
One
channels,
Piece.
it's still kind of a risk. So the group departs, pretty much unnoticed. But as mentioned at the end of the last episode, Frieza's already pretty suspicious about what's going on. He's not stupid. He arrives where Zarbon and Dodoria once were a few days later, seeing nothing's left behind except a few craters where it seems like a fight took place. Well, just as he expected. Of course, they were here on a mission, but it was an easy mission, so he knows this planet's inhabitants weren't responsible for killing Zarbon and Dodoria. There had to be some sort of outside interference. And the only rational conclusion is that it was the Saiyans, because they disappeared around the same time that this happened. In a fit of anger, Frieza even blows up the planet that they're on, terrifying
Damn.
all the subordinates that are near him that are barely able to escape.
Holy shit, dog. Yo, bro. Bro, Frieza. Bro, chill, dog. Yo, that's the Emperor, baby.
Escape in the nick of time.
Shit,
He
dog.
apologizes. He let his anger get to him.
What?
He was stupid
My
for letting those
bad.
Saiyans live in the first place.
What the
He should have known
hell?
they would have tried this.
Oh,
Instead of being
hell
sneaky
no,
about it and trying
man.
to separate the group, he should have just killed them.
What
Well,
the
it's a shame
hell?
he destroyed that planet. But he needed to vent his frustration somehow, and soon enough he'll be able to vent it right on the Saiyans themselves. And
Hey,
maybe
yo.
for fun, he'll even go into his second form against them. Not that he would even need that, but he'll show them true terror. The Saiyans eventually do find an isolated planet to have a base on. The gravity here is
Okay.
actually higher than usual,
Bro, I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't hide on any planet, bro. Hide on an asteroid, bro.
notably higher too. It's about 50
You
times
didn't see what bro
Vegeta's
did?
gravity was, which is 500 times Earth's gravity. They struggle to even stand
Damn.
on this planet, but Kakarot says this is probably a good place to land. They'll be able to get incredibly strong here. They could leave for another planet, but this way, if they adapt to this
Nah.
gravity, imagine how much stronger they'll be.
Yeah.
And they've fought on planets with higher gravity before, but never for a prolonged period of time.
Just
and
never
with
lived on
gravity
that
like
shit.
this. At most, they've been on planets with like 3 times the gravity of planet Vegeta, so this is a pretty big jump. And this is perfect.
Bro, I always love that pose of Nappa, bro. That's just so fucking hard, bro.
Been on planets with like 3 times the gravity of planet Vegeta, so this is a pretty big jump. And this is perfect. They need to train as hard as possible, and Vegeta thinks they should abuse Zenkais, but Kakarot says it's not that simple. Zenkais will help, but they do need to have hard work too. He learned that while he was with the Zarbon's group because he experienced both.
Stop being
Sure,
a
they can
bitch.
constantly injure each other and then heal, but at a certain point that'll
Fighting
happen
like
naturally.
monkeys.
Zenkai's
Gotta
combined
learn
with
some
actual
martial
training,
arts.
That's what's really going to help them grow. This also does
Facts.
kind of anger Nappa a bit because it sounds like he's questioning Vegeta's judgment.
Monkey
he hasn't
ass.
liked Kakarot's
Look at
attitude
him.
one bit. This whole
Monkey
time
see,
he's been
monkey
holding it
do.
back.
Look at him.
But he's insulted that Kakarot's trying to
Bald-headed
call the
bitch.
shots. He's not the leader here. And the two of them
And
have been
who
arguing.
is?
This has
Not
been bubbling
you.
up for a while.
Fuck you
so
talking
Raditz
about?
and Vegeta don't even intervene, especially because Vegeta wants to see the outcome of this battle.
Bro,
The arguing eventually leads to a
Goku
fight,
gonna
and
rock
Kakarot
your
actually
shit.
does beat him.
Alright, bro.
In an effort to prove that he knows what
Duh.
he's talking about.
That's
He's not
fucking
trying to question
Goku.
Vegeta's judgment. He's just telling them the facts. And
He
they're not going to
better.
get anywhere if they keep fighting. Whether
Monkey.
they like it or not, they're going to have to work together, and they're not going to have to rely on one person's thoughts here.
Facts.
As far as they're concerned, low-class Saiyan, high-class Saiyan, mid-class Saiyan, it doesn't matter anymore. Right now,
Facts.
they're all equal, and they need to act.
Nah. Well, he should have said, I'm him.
If they put each other down, they're not going to get anywhere. The Saiyans, of course, have Great Ape too, but they need to be strong in base as well. Great Ape is awesome to have as a backup, but Frieza, of course, knows that he could just go for their tails and cut them off. So while they
Facts.
have that in their back pocket, they need to be able to work without Great Ape too, just in case. Also, because if they don't end up fighting under a full moon, they're going to have to create an artificial moon which will drain someone's power. So they really shouldn't be too reliant on that. And thus, they begin training. Right
Damn, when did they get so logical?
now, it's about age 755. In context of the actual series, we're pretty much a year before the 23rd World Tournament's supposed to happen.
Okay,
And don't worry,
cool.
we'll probably cover
Cool. I ain't gonna lie, I was a little nervous. Because I thought we was over here when Goku got Kaioken. Okay, time ain't going by that damn
Earth
quick.
eventually in the
Okay,
story
cool.
too, but for now we're going to ignore it, since this isn't a story about Earth. That's why by this point
Facts.
Kakarot has
Earth
growth spurt,
is
with Vegeta and Raditz also being
screwed.
fully grown by now.
Red Ribbon took
Earlier than
over.
Kakarot, of course. Let's also cover some power levels, at least for the time when they arrive on the planet. Vegeta's the strongest of the group at 15,000. He's marginally weaker than the Saiyan Saga Vegeta, just because that's a few years out still. You might think that maybe he
Yeah.
should be stronger because he benefited from having an extra crew member, but remember, he barely even trained with Kakarot or even acknowledged him, so he's not going to benefit from Kakarot being there. Kakarot's actually the second strongest of the group, at a power of about 6,000. Hence why he was able to beat Nappa so easily,
Yeah, bro. Don't say you're him, bro. You're not ready yet.
and actually did stand a chance against Vegeta, but didn't really do too much otherwise. Then there's Nappa at 3,000, pretty much for the same
Bitch
reason as
ass
Vegeta.
boy.
Raditz, on the other hand, is pretty much about where he was in the actual Saiyan Saga. He's right around that
Damn.
level, and we'll say he's about
Damn, Raditz. Why you just suck, bro?
1,500. Difference is he actually did benefit from Kakarot training with him a bit, although it wasn't
Wow.
too huge of a benefit because they started very late and they didn't really do that too much anyways. But I could still see somewhat of a boost for him. Following Frieza's discovery of what happened to Zarbon and Dodoria, he sends out a bunch of scouts, and he even contemplates maybe using the Ginyu Force. If they were able to kill Zarbon and Dodoria, they should probably be able to kill most of the Frieza Force soldiers. Of course, if he sends dozens of them at once, that's going
Where
to be a big
Jason
issue.
Birder at?
But he does know they could turn Grade Ape, and the soldiers might not be able to go for their tails. Plus, in all honesty, he's not sure if regular scouts will be able to find them. The Ginyu Force is an elite group after all, and they'd probably be better at finding the Saiyans in the first place. So, not too long after Frieza sends all the other scouts out, instead contacting the Ginyu Force, exclusively sending them to find the Saiyans. And he gives them a pretty good paycheck for it too. It's their
Okay.
first big job in a while, and Ginyu's pretty
Okay.
excited. They're not going to let Frieza down. Thankfully, the Saiyans are pretty good at covering their tracks, so
Rhymes
it takes a
with
few months before
doom.
anyone is able to find them. This is more than enough time for them to get acclimated to this planet's gravity, and train up in general. They have pretty rapid growth at first while they're getting adjusted. But of course, at some point, this planet's gravity just becomes normal to them, so it's not really going to gain anything after that. But they still have their normal training, of course. The biggest thing the Saiyans learned from this is actually fighting together. Of course, they fought together before, but they never truly synergized. Which is good because they're about to fight another group with a lot of synergy. The Ginyu Force is eventually able to find the planet, arriving and being noticed pretty much instantly. The Saiyans aren't using their scouters, but they've learned to sense ki basically by force. Since they couldn't rely on scouters anymore, instinctively they tried finding other ways to track each other. Kakarot accidentally stumbled upon this, and now all four of them have the ability to sense ki.
I mean, maybe. I don't know, dog. Key control. I don't know. They don't know martial arts.
Which also gives them a greater control in their powers too. They could lower their presence. The Ginyu Force did locate their presence at first, but now they lower it back down, getting ready to ambush the group because they can instantly tell it's the Ginyu Force. It's 5 huge power levels gathered together, so there's not really too many other options of what it can be. Ginyu tells the group to split up. Jace and Bert go out looking on their own, Raccoon goes out on his own, Goldo goes out on his own, and Ginyu goes out on his own. Goldo's unfortunate because he stumbles upon Vegeta, and he doesn't even
Crappy.
realize it, so he can't even activate his time stop. By the time he realizes Vegeta's there,
Damn.
he's dead. Which is good because the group doesn't
Decapitated.
realize how big of a problem he truly could have been. But this alerts Ginyu, who goes right for Vegeta. Jace and Birder then get jumped by Kakarot and Raditz, with Nappa jumping Raccoon. Their ambush was
Okay.
successful. 3 separate fights break out.
But
The first one to
Raccoon
fall
is whooping his ass, bro. Raccoon is whooping Nappa's ass, bro. It's not even
was
close.
Raccoon, who also defeats Nappa at the
It's
same
not
time.
even
Nappa's
close,
left pretty badly
bro.
injured from it too. But Kakarot
No
and Raditz arrive,
shit.
finishing Raccoon off and killing him. They won their battle with Jason Birder, and Nappa says
What?
to leave him behind. Raditz arrive, finishing Raccoon off and killing him. Nappa's left pretty badly injured from it too. But Kakarot and Raditz arrive, finishing Raccoon off and killing him. They won their battle with Jason Birder,
Oh,
and
okay.
Nappa says to leave him behind. They need to go help Vegeta because he's probably got his hands full with Ginyu. The two fly over to Vegeta, and pretty much the second they get there, they watch as Ginyu swaps bodies with Vegeta. This will probably be pretty nice for actually boosting Vegeta's power too. All he has to do is sit back and watch, and then they're gonna heal him.
Shit.
And by the time Ginyu stole his body, it was already a little bit injured. They had their own fight beforehand. Plus, Ginyu doesn't have the full power of Vegeta's body, which works in the favor of Kakarot and Raditz. Amidst this battle, Ginyu is actually able to defeat Raditz too, but not kill him because he still has to deal with Kakarot. And the fight against Kakarot's pretty tough. He's surprised to see Kakarot's that strong. He's got to be right below Vegeta in terms of power by now. Ginyu then feels something pierce through his chest. A laser. Kakarot's holding
Damn.
one finger out, with a powerful beam launched from it. Kakarot was able to pick up on this while he was with his Zarbon Dodoria, and briefly with Frieza. It's a pretty handy technique. And
What?
he can't wait to kill Frieza with his own
That
ability.
beam.
But Ginyu still has one last
Yeah,
resort.
that's
He
crazy.
tries to swap bodies with Kakarot, which is exactly what Kakarot wanted. Quickly, using all of his power, he tries using telekinesis to pull Vegeta towards him. And just in the nick of time,
Telekinesis.
he's able to swap him back into his original body. It looks like the plan worked out perfectly. Raditz weakly gets up and walks over to Ginyu, who's on his last legs, with Kakarot walking over too. The two each hold a hand out in front of them, launching a simultaneous blast that destroys the rest of Ginyu. They collapse to the
Damn.
ground, exhausted.
Rest
They
in
barely make it
peace to
through, though.
Ginyu
And
for
this
it.
is pretty bad because this means Frieza's definitely found them
I ain't gonna lie, bro. It sounds like a no diff.
by now. What they could theorize is that the Ginyu
It
forces set out
sounds like
specifically
a
to find them.
no
It
diff,
doesn't seem like
bro.
anyone else is here with them, so that seems to be the most likely case. But this info was definitely related to Frieza, especially because they had their scouters on the entire time. They would love to taunt Frieza over the scouters, but the scouters got destroyed mid-battle. But
All right, bro. That's the end of the Ginyu Force. That's what I wanted to check out. All right, we'll do more of these if y'all want to. That was fun. I enjoyed that. All right, you guys have a good night. Bye bye. Oh yeah, Brofist, my fault. But yeah, we bring it back to Brofist like PewDiePie.